Hey, thanks for tuning in to Mountain Man Picker. Today, I'm going to talk about what I believe, in my opinion, are the top 12 classic rock vinyl albums that every collector should own. And please keep in mind, this is in my personal opinion. So if you disagree, please feel free to mention that in the comments or suggest anything that I missed. Everybody has their own taste, and these are going to be basically albums that have influenced my life the most. So, and we're talking about classic rock. The highest I'm going here on years is 1980. Most of these albums I'm going to talk about are at 70s and late 60s. But let's get started, okay? All right, so first one, this would be number 12. Led Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti. A double album, one of my absolute favorite Led Zeppelin albums. I'm a big Led Zeppelin fan. So it was kind of hard to narrow it down to my favorite one. This one, in my opinion, everybody who likes Led Zeppelin should have Physical Graffiti. It has songs like Kashmir, awesome hit, Trampled Underfoot, Custard Pie, In My Time of Dying, lots and lots of really killer cuts and tracks on this album. And this particular vinyl record I have, fortunate to have a very good clean copy on Swan Song. This one is very good plus graded as far as the vinyl and the album cover. So Led Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti, number 12. Okay, number 11. This is 1980 that I'm taking you to here. Rush, Permanent Waves. One of the most impactful albums on my life as a rock and roller growing up was Rush. I'm a big Led Zeppelin fan, big Rush fan. This album here, Permanent Waves, is, in my opinion, my favorite Rush album. It's got so many good songs: The Spirit of Radio, Free Will, Jacob's Ladder, Natural Science. Really, really good progressive rock and roll here from Rush, 1980, Permanent Waves. This particular vinyl record that I've got here in my hand is in VG Plus condition. And if you can see the vinyl there, I'm not sure if you can, but I've got a really good copy here of Rush, Permanent Waves. Okay, number 10, Queen, A Night at the Opera. This album had a huge impact on my rock and roll life. Bohemian Rhapsody, when I first heard it on the radio, this was back in 1975. First heard that on the radio, it totally blew me away, and I had to start getting into some Queen. This album here's got Bohemian Rhapsody, also had the hit You're My Best Friend, very popular song on the radio. This is a big game changer album for me from 1975. The vinyl that I have, it's in really good condition. This is a VG Plus as well on the Elektra label. So that's going to be my number 10, Queen, A Night at the Opera. Okay, so let's go to 1976, album number 9, The Eagles, Hotel California. What an amazing record. This album had Life in the Fast Lane on it. That is probably the song that really got me into the Eagles. I was into the Eagles early, though, the Eagles' Greatest Hits album, for example, but this was the album that really got me into the Eagles. The Hotel California itself, the song, is just a true masterpiece of music. I think everybody should own this album. I've got a VG Plus version here of the LP, and I'm definitely hanging on to this one. Number 9. Eagles, Hotel California. Okay, let's talk about number 8. This is actually from 1979. This album blew me away when I first heard it. Pat Travers Band, Go For What You Know. It's a live album. Very underrated performer. Pat Travers had a huge impact on my life as a guitar player. I saw him in 1979 and 1980, and then several times in my older years. And such a great guy. I've met him personally. But this album here, Pat Travers, Go For What You Know live. I've got the German import version, and this is near mint condition actually. And such a great album. Boom Boom, Out Goes the Lights, Go For What You Know, Go All Night, Making Magic, Hooked on Music, Heat in the Street, Makes No Difference. Awesome album. If you haven't ever heard this one, you got to check it out. Okay, 1976. This is going to be album number 7. Foghat. Yeah, Foghat. I'm a huge Foghat fan. They influenced me when I was a young guy trying to learn how to play guitar. And I learned Slow Ride, one of my very first songs, came from this album. Such a monster hit on the radio. Foghat Live was the next album I bought after I got into Fool for the City. But this album, Fool for the City, Slow Ride, so many good hits on it. Bearsville Records. This my album cover's falling apart here, but the vinyl that I've got here is VG, very good shape. Hey, just a side note, this album is the one that got me into playing guitar, and after I heard Slow Ride, I went on to play guitar for 43 more years, and then I decided to start helping other guitarists learn how to play guitar. So now I've got a free ebook out there if you're interested in it. It's at allaboutguitaracademy.com. Just a side note there, if you're wanting to learn how to play guitar, you can find my ebook there. Foghat, Fool for the City, 1976, amazing album. Okay, let's go on back to 1975. This is going to be album number 6, in my opinion. Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic. This album was a huge impact on me before I started learning how to play the guitar. I heard Walk This Way on the radio, which I'm sure many of you had back in the day, and I had to go out and get this album. This is one of the first albums I ever bought. It still rocks my world today when I listen to it. Toys in the Attic, Sweet Emotion, so many good tunes on this album. Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic. Okay, let's go to number 5, and this is going to take us back to 1969. This album had a huge impact on my life. Crosby, Stills, and Nash, their first album. Wonderful collection of music. Sweet Judy, Blue Eyes. It also had Marrakesh Express and Wooden Ships. Such good songs off of this album. I realize that this is on the borderline of classic rock. It's more like folk rock. But I put this into the category of classic rock because they went on to do so many other tunes when they when Neil Young joined the team. They came out with Ohio and some of those other rockin' songs. So this, in my opinion, you got to have it. That's number 5, Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Okay, let's go to 1971. This is going to be my number 4 pick of classic rock albums that you got to have. Yes, Fragile. Had Roundabout on it, so many good songs, Long Distance Runaround. This album really got me into Yes. Yes was had a huge influence on me, such really good progressive rock, and very, very detailed musical compositions from Steve Howe and Rick Wakeman, and just an amazing band. This version that I have of Fragile is in very, very good condition. It's VG+. And I still listen to it all the time. An essential rock album. Okay, number 3 on my list of the top 12, In the Court of the Crimson King. All right, King Crimson. This album, if you haven't heard it, you got to listen to it. It's an amazing record. I like to think of it along the lines of Yes, it's very progressive rock. But this album came out in 1969. And it plays wonderfully on my record player. This version I have is VG+. Listened to it many, many times growing up. 21st Century Schizoid Man is on this record. If you've ever heard April Wine do 21st Century Schizoid Man, that's also a good rendition of it. But you got to have this album. Excellent album. Okay, number 2 on my list. The Doors, Strange Days. What a fantastic album. I've got so many Doors albums. This one is probably my favorite. It's got Strange Days on it, of course. People Are Strange. And then When the Music's Over, one of my favorite Doors tunes. This is back from 1967. And this copy of Doors' Strange Days, I believe the vinyl on this is going to be Good Plus, because I've used it quite a bit. Yeah, it's a Good Plus copy of the Doors' Strange Days. So that's number 2. Huge impact on my life. Everybody should own this record. Okay, the number 1 album that I think everybody should own if you're a rock music collector, in my opinion, from 1969, The Beatles, Abbey Road. What an amazing record. I own all the Beatles records, but this one I would have to say, hands down, in my opinion, has some of the best music on it. I love the White Album. I love Revolver. I love so many of the other albums, but this one had a huge impact on my life, and it's got the iconic picture, them crossing the street here on Abbey Road. What an amazing album. I mean, Come Together, Something, such huge hits on here. Octopus's Garden, I Want You, She's So Heavy. And then, of course, on side 2, you get Here Comes the Sun, and then that whole medley of songs. She Came In Through the Bathroom Window, Polythene Pam, Mr. Mustard, or Mean Mr. Mustard. What an awesome album. That's going to be my number 1 pick, The Beatles, Abbey Road, for essential classic rock albums that everybody needs to own. Okay, since you stuck around till the end, I told you I was going to give you some honorable mentions. Here they are. Okay, let's go to my honorable mentions. These are in my opinion, okay? Just want to throw that out there again. A couple albums that I don't have here available that I would definitely want to throw on there. Jimi Hendrix, Electric Ladyland, Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here. 2 albums that I would definitely have on this list. But as far as honorable mentions that I have here with me, Who's Next? What an awesome album. This one has Baba O'Reilly. It also has Won't Get Fooled Again and several other hits on it. I would definitely pick Who's Next as another essential classic rock album. Then I would pick the Rolling Stones, Let It Bleed. I've got so many Stones albums. I'm not a huge Stones fan, but I do like the Rolling Stones quite a bit. But this one's got Midnight Rambler, Gimme Shelter, Monkey Man. You Can't Always Get What You Want. What a great record. So I would definitely put that one on the list of honorable mentions. Another one, Chicago. I know they're not hard rock, they're on the borderline of classic rock, but this Chicago album, their greatest hits, this, in my opinion, is one of the best Chicago albums out there. Highly recommend Chicago. Next one, this one had a huge influence on my rock and roll days. Black Sabbath, Paranoid. What an amazing album with Ozzy Osbourne, Tony Iommi, and the rest of the guys. Black Sabbath, Paranoid. That would definitely go on my list. Big ZZ Top fan. ZZ Top, Tres Hombres. This is a super good album. It's got the hit LaGrange, Waiting for the Bus, Jesus Just Left Chicago, Beer Drinkers, and Hellraisers. As you can see, the cover of my album is kind of coming apart here, but that's from a lot of usage. Love ZZ Top, Tres Hombres. Definitely put that one on my list. And then, of course, the mighty Led Zeppelin 2. I've got a few copies of this album. Such an awesome album. I put Physical Graffiti over it just because Physical Graffiti is just action-packed with tunes. But Led Zeppelin 2, I mean, you've got a whole lot of love. You've got so many good hits. The Lemon Song. We've got Livin' Lovin' Made, Ramble On, Moby Dick. What an amazing album. In fact, I think I'm going to listen to this one right now. So, hey, folks, thanks for joining me today on Mountain Man Picker. I hope you have a great day. And please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content on Mountain Man Picker. All right, thank you, guys. Have a great day.